Okay, so this is the third in my series where I'm looking at opportunities or times when radio and TV presenters have either missed the point or just asked not so good questions. So if you remember, I'm exemplifying this using three instances from the great Gary Richardson, pride of BBC sports reporting. So I've done the one where Gary asked Seb Coe, he said, I want you to tell me what's going to happen in the future, but I don't want you to speculate. So I assume from that he sees Seb as a prophet or a seer of some sort. And then the tremendous interview with Kim Hughes, where Kim Hughes is poised to tell us some inside anecdotes about Ian Chappell, and Gary cuts him short. So this is the third incident, and this involves Eddie Jones, or the great Gary interviewing Eddie Jones, who's being the rugby coach, and it was the time when England had a poor season, and the following year, which is the game we're talking about here, first game of the season, England played very well and they won. And so Eddie Jones, the coach, is obviously a very bright guy and also super confident with the media, I always think, is on Gary's show. All set fair, what can go wrong? We're going to get some amazing insights. So just to give you a bit of background, it seemed to me that what England had done so well in this game was to three things really. First of all, to make the ball available in the ruck. Secondly, I thought they passed the ball out of the tackle beautifully. And thirdly, I kind of thought they'd really hit the gain line. Much less sideways movement than before. I mean, I'm sure there's other stuff. I'm not the most perceptive observer of rugby union, so I'm sure there was other stuff they'd done. Incidentally, I always think it's funny that in sport, there's an assumption, isn't it, if the team play well, if they win, they've played well. But it just seems to me like in professional sport, that's one of the few occupations where people go to work and someone else is actively trying to stop you doing what you're supposed to be doing. You know, when I had my root canal done, the dentist next door to my dentist wasn't coming in, sort of nicking his stuff and switching the power off or something to try and undermine him. Thank goodness. So anyway, so here we are. We've got Gary on, and Eddie Jones is on in Gary's interview, and to my amazement, I must have switched off a bit, but suddenly I realised that Eddie Jones is talking about taking his dog for a walk on the common. So instead of asking, because I did backtrack on this, instead of asking Eddie Jones any sort of technical questions about the game, and let's face it, you know, chances are he wouldn't have answered them that honestly, because it's the start of the campaign, but it just seems to me that there's a fighting chance there he might have just revealed some sort of the inside story there, you know, why it was they're so much better passing out of the tackle, or why it was they were so much better getting the ball from the ruck. But no, Gary starts to talk to him about what he does to relax, and it must be very tense. And next thing you know, like Eddie Jones, the England coach, is there on primetime radio talking about walking his dog on some common in London. Nice, good job, Gary.